Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the update preview stream. This is Bugs here. I'm joined today by Artemis and Miss D. Say hi, guys.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, guys.
So, what do we got going on today? Well, we are 1 week until the big update and forced wipe. And over here on staging, we are seeing a ton of changes. We're seeing a bunch of fixes, meta changing changes, as Alistair put it, and a ton of quality of life as well. So, the team is definitely in a frenzy about doing miscellaneous little changes to improve quality of life, to change balance, and all this stuff. So, as always, we're going to go through what is going on the development branch on staging. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask Miss D underscore that's me in chat, and we'll get to as many questions as we have the opportunity to. Real quick, what's going on with server wipes today? It is for Rustafied servers, just the weekly Thursday wipe servers wiping at regular scheduled time. So that is AU SEA wiped like 12, 11 hours ago. EU wiped, what is that, 3 hours ago?
Yep.
And US wipes in 2 hours at 3 p.m. EST. Now, I also want to say real quick, the servers are shitting the bed, and not just ours. A bunch of hosts are shitting the bed. In fact, it seems like the internet as a whole, in some manner, shape, or form, is shitting the bed at the moment. We're having a number of websites running slower, and then also the latency on the servers is really high. And once again, it's not just our servers, it's not just our host, even. We're seeing reports of this happening across multiple hosts and multiple orgs. And it seems like some form of, if I had to guess, I think the word for it is global cyber attack. I think that's the nomenclature that's commonly used these days. That's just a guess. I don't know. But I do apologize for any inconvenience this is causing when trying to connect to Rustified servers. We are in communication with our host about it, but once again, this seems like more of a global issue. Now, thankfully, with issues like that, they tend to resolve pretty quickly because a lot of people are impacted. And so the people who fix these things are really incentivized to fix them quicker. So hopefully this does resolve itself shortly. But in the meantime, I do apologize for any negative impacts this is having with you being able to join our servers. But let's get into it. What do we got going on with regards to these changes? So earlier in the week, Alistair did make a post on X about some meta changing changes coming into the staging branch this week. And what we're seeing is a bunch of those coming in. And what they are specifically are, well, I'll run through them. We've got destroyed foundations will block instant rebuilding. This is also on top of the stuff from the last week or two where you are able to now build foundations that have been destroyed. You're able to replace them when there's walls above and stuff like that, which is really cool for recovering after a raid. But destroyed foundations will block instant rebuilding like other building parts. So if it is destroyed, you won't be able to rebuild it immediately. Then on top of that, we've got the MLRS lockout time has increased to 20 minutes from 10, so it's doubled. We've also got high external walls can be demolished for up to 10 minutes after being placed with a hammer. So if you misplace a high external, you will now be able to demolish it with a hammer within 10 minutes. Now, in addition, with the high externals, they now take 3 seconds to deploy. So, and movement will cancel placement. So you have to stand still and spend 3 seconds to deploy each high external, which could be seen as kind of a pain in the ass for some people. But it is just limiting the ability to plop these things down super quick. So you can't move around. You got to stand still, and it does take 3 seconds to deploy basically any high external wall or gate. Also, C4 prevents upgrading for 30 seconds when it lands on a wall. And it looks like this is for all explosives, including grenades and stuff. But when an explosive lands on a wall, even before it explodes, you can't upgrade it. So you can no more like last second upgrading when the C4 is taken away. Also, they've added a tech tree unlock tax, which is interesting. So for the workbench unlocks, it's basically going to have a tax as you go up workbench level. So workbench level 1 is 0% tax, but workbench level 2 is a 10% tax, and workbench level 3 is a 20% tax. So that's just going to be extra scrap it costs to unlock via the workbench. Mind you, this doesn't change anything with the cost of things on a research bench. So if you have the item and you want to unlock it via the research bench, that will still cost the same. But if you want to run through and unlock items via the workbenches, then you're going to see this tax. And that tax is higher up the higher the level of workbench. And then finally, cargo ships will actually dock at both harbors too. So instead of just docking at one harbor all the time, it looks like now they're going to dock at both harbors when it comes out, which is cool. And that's something I kind of expected to happen when they originally launched the cargo ship docking. I kind of expected them to dock at one harbor and then dock at the other. So, yeah, they will do that now, apparently. And also, Alistair did add to the very end of that, kind of a PS, some gunplay changes are on the way soon, TM. So we will see some gunplay changes in the near future, in addition to these meta changing changes and the miscellaneous quality of life stuff, which I'll get into now. Helk has swooped in with a bunch of miscellaneous quality of life changes, and a couple devs are doing some other quality of life as well that I did include in here. So it's not all Helk, but the majority of these are Helk coming in and doing these things. And what he's done is he's reduced the HV ammo gunpowder cost, and he's also made it so the HV ammo craft yield increased to match the non HV ammo. So you get as much as non HV ammo when you craft it, and it's going to be a little less when it comes to gunpowder cost. Also, with torpedoes, the craft yield has increased from 3 to 5. They've also slightly increased the torpedo surface accuracy, so they're going to be a little more accurate. In the similar realm, submarine duo fires torpedoes slightly faster than solo, so that duo submarine will be able to have a faster torpedo fire rate than the single submarine. They've increased the roadside armor condition, so they'll last longer and break slower. They've decreased the metal plate craft cost from 25 to 18 high quality metal. They've also reduced the cost of incendiary rockets and slightly increased the damage, so a bit of a buff to incendiary rockets. They've reduced the gear cost of the HM so it's going to be a little less gears to craft. And they've removed tech trash from a number of things, including the drone, and also it's no longer required to have tech trash for crafting RF items. So, like the RF broadcaster or receiver, all those things, they're now going to cost about 50 more metal frags than they did before, but no more tech trash is required. So, arguably, a lot easier and cheaper to craft. They've also fixed muted spread of incendiary rockets and updated the visuals of incendiary rockets. And this is a biggie that just came in today, the ability to authorize friends on tool cupboards similar to turrets. So we just saw that commit hit earlier today as well. And that about does it for the quality of life stuff. Now, on top of that, there's a ton of fixes as well that we're seeing. And I'll run through a couple of those now. They added the ability to promote a team leader via the team UI in the inventory. And you can click on the player now and select kick or promote. And within that, they've removed the promote leader pop up when looking at another player. So now you can promote a leader that's offline on your team. You don't have to be standing in front of them to promote them, which is a nice little quality of life and a nice little fix. They have removed the inventory slots on static workbench variants, and this prevents players from accidentally transferring scrap into hidden inventory slots and like losing them. That was a real pain if you ever accidentally did that. They fixed a state where a tutorial button in the menu would show as not usable when it should be usable. They fixed storage adapters blocking looting of boxes when directly looking at the adapters. They fixed hover looting clothing inside full backpack not doing anything. They fixed a couple other things with the backpack dragging and right clicking. So they fixed dragging backpack diving take onto equipped backpack going into backpacks inventory instead of swapping items or doing nothing. That sounds like a lot of words there, but yeah, you get it. And they also fixed the promote button not working. Another thing with promoting stuff. And then finally, Tesla coils and igniters no longer take damage when picked up. So those are just a bunch of miscellaneous fixes we're seeing come in. We're also seeing a ton of stuff with the patrol helicopter behavior. And as you probably noticed, the patrol heli behavior did drastically change this month with the update and forced wipe. And now they're modifying it even further because I don't think the behavior of the patrol helicopter this month is exactly where they wanted it at. So they're doing a bunch of things to like reduce the no-go zone size and be way less liberal with the no-go zone nearest edge calculation stuff and increase the size of the danger zone. And it's all a bunch of stuff basically telling the helicopter where to go and when to flee and when not to flee. And I think one of the more uh, interesting things in here is they fix inaccurate damage numbers being pushed to danger zones. So basically, that should stop the heli from fleeing until the player has removed around 30% HP exactly. So basically, we're just going to be seeing some changes to how the patrol heli behaves. I'll be honest with you, a lot of these commits are a little dense, and I have a hard time painting a concise, clearly communicative picture of how the heli will behave differently. So we're just going to have to kind of play with it this week and see, what we see. And maybe we'll have some more feedback for you next week when it's actually going live. And then there's a bunch of other stuff as well, various projects being worked on, long term projects. Some may make it in for next week, others we'll see. One that probably will make it in for next week. It looks like procedural maps will now be downloaded from FacePunch servers instead of being generated on the client PC. So that stands to drastically increase, or I should say, decrease the loading times when you're getting into the server because a lot of that stuff is actually just building the map on your own PC. And if you just download the map, chances are that's going to be quicker than having your PC process and build the whole map. They're doing some initial work on a sperm whale. Your guess is as good as mine. I guess that's going to be a big whale floating around out there. Maybe we'll have some cool loot. We'll see. There's a new traveling vendor in the work. So it looks like this vendor is going to appear randomly on the map, find the closest road, and then kind of at various points in time just kind of move around and be this traveling vendor NPC that we haven't had before. There's also a bunch of more work going on bikes. They've got the motorbike, they added a kickstand to the motorbike. So these bike vehicles will be coming in sometime in the near future. I definitely don't think next week they'll be making their way in, but maybe as we hit the summer, like June, July, we might see motorbikes and just actual bicycles make their way into the game. There's also more work on this new gun. The SKS rifle is going to be coming into the game at some point in the future. I don't think for next week's update, but maybe the following month. There's more tweaks on door controllers. If you missed it, they changed a lot with the door controllers. So they're now deployable on the doors like a code lock. There's a couple electricity uh, nodes for you to hook things up to control them. And it's basically just going to be a lot easier to automatically open and close your doors in a vanilla setting. They're doing some more work on the Radtown Redux. This is the legacy Radtown kind of throwback monument. And we're just seeing some more work on that. I don't think that's going to come in for next week, but probably June, if I had to guess. And along with that, they've got a new legacy crate that's in the works. So there'll be a new loot crate kind of coming in, probably with this new Radtown. And then finally, there's more work on that Nexus, that server to server clan system body of work stuff, where we continue to see commits towards that project. No word on when we're going to see these Nexus servers go live. I do get the sense that probably Face Punch will launch their own Nexus servers for the first little bit as a way of testing and confirming they're good to go. And then maybe after that, we'll see some other communities launch some Nexus servers. And with those Nexus servers, we'll have that clan table and the whole clan system where teams can communicate across the different Nexus servers, post announcements. And it's kind of like the team UI, but on crack. So the clan system will be able to manage hundreds of people, whereas the team UI just manages like 10 or so. But yeah, we'll keep you posted as we get more information on how that's coming along and when we'll see that actually in production of the game. But yeah, with that, that about does it for what is going on in Rust development. Miss D, we've got any questions from the audience? Any of these quality of life or meta changing changes we want to test here?
Not really. We have like three or something, but is it force wipe today? That's a different one.
No, it is not Force Swipe today. We are 1 week from Force Swipe. Force Swipe is the first Thursday of every month. So sometimes, oftentimes, that's 4 weeks apart from each other, 4 Thursdays apart. Sometimes it's five, but it's always the first Thursday of the month. And so the next one is going to be, what is that, May 2nd? Yeah, May 2nd, next week. So basically, 1 week and 45 minutes from now is when we'll see that Force Swipe and the update go live.
Hmm. Do you think they will force wipe all BPs, including all, with the new update next week?
Yeah, I don't think a forced blueprint wipe is coming in. Generally speaking, the forced blueprint wipe only happens when they do some real big change to progression, or they just choose to because there's going to be a lot of people playing and they haven't done it for a while. In fact, the last forced blueprint wipe that we saw was the other year, I think in December, and that was their logic with it. With a lot of people play around the holidays, and so let's do a forced blueprint wipe to give a fresh start to everyone. But I want to say that was like 2 Decembers ago. It's been a while since we've seen a forced blueprint wipe, and I see no signs of a forced blueprint wipe for the update next week. As an aside, many servers do choose to wipe blueprints each forced map wipe and each update. And that is the case for all Rustified servers, with the exception of our medium threes, long threes, and Zen Lab servers in both the US and EU. So if you're looking for a no blueprint wipe environment, check out medium threes, long threes, or Zen Labs.
Mm, do you think they, hold on. No. Is there any new info on some new gunplay changes on the way?
Well, the basically the only info we have is that some gunplay changes are on the way soon. But Alistair said that as kind of the last part of his post about the meta changing changes going on to staging this week. He posted that on X, I think Monday or Tuesday. And the only information we got is that some gunplay changes are coming in soon. We didn't get any information on what they look like, what they are, what guns will be impacted. So we'll have to keep you posted. But as of the commits just a little while ago, we haven't seen any of those gunplay changes hit staging quite yet.
Mm, another PvP question. Do you think they will ever add PvP? Do you think they will ever make PvP harder? As it is right now, it's too easy to use the weapons with no recoil.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I imagine as we see some of these gunplay changes coming in, we might see some more difficulty arise with certain guns. We might see certain guns get easier. It really could go either way. I do understand where you're coming from after the, old recoil was removed. That was a much larger learning curve than the current recoil. So I definitely understand where the question is sourced from. But specifically, I don't have any information as far as what these gunplay changes are going to entail.
Mm, will the small barricades also have the timer? No, they
No.
will not. Uh, I heard a new gun was coming out. Is that true?
Yeah, the SKS gun is in the works. That's a rifle from like World War II era. I think it has like I want to say it's the one that, it's what do they call that? Semi-automatic. And then when um, I'm thinking of like Battlefield, when you're out, it goes ding, and you gotta. I think it's that type of gun. I'm not sure. I could be totally wrong. I
Yeah, I
should
think you're
really
right.
learn more about
Mhm.
guns, but that's what my intuition is saying. It's that one where you fire, 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 ding, and then you're out. I really do hope it has that sound.
Ding ding.
Record
It's
it
the
and put it
little
forward.
things.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's the
Um,
M1 Grand, I think. Yeah, yeah. Slow Smokes is, I think, right, but maybe the SKS does it too. I don't know.
I'm trying to see if I have missed some questions without them adding my name, but I don't see any.
Yeah, everyone in chat knows more
Wait,
about guns than
actually,
I
I
do.
just saw one here. Do you guys have something like this for console or know of one like it?
Like reporting on what's going on console development? Is that the question?
Maybe, I think.
Yeah, no, I don't know anything uh, like that. And yeah, we don't really track console development because console development is one handled by a completely different company, completely different team. But on top of that, we don't have the transparency in the commits as to what they're doing on a day by day, week by week basis. Like FacePunch is really cool because they're really transparent with their development. As every time any developer commits a piece of code to the, you know, man, what's that word? To the repo, to the repository of the game, we can see it on commits.facepunch.com. And that's what allows us to report on development news, go on staging and check out like what the changes really are and develop these articles. Unfortunately, the console crew doesn't do any of that. We don't have staging servers. We don't have any insight into their development cycles. And so it's not really feasible even to do that. So basically, when there is a console update, the team at Double Eleven kind of does a like pseudo dev blog and releases it. I think that's probably the best source for what's changing in the console realm.
I am just trying to test the small barricade. Because I saw one saying any information on small barricade changes. I don't see any. It's the high external that is changed, as far as I know, right?
Yeah, I felt like there were some barricade changes coming, but I don't think they're confirmed yet. I think there was talk on X about barricade changes, but I don't know what they are at the moment. And I might have just missed it, and I apologize if I did. Uh, just to say, we're not developers of the game. We're not on the Facepunch payroll. We're just an independent organization who loves reporting on development news and running the best servers that we can. So, we just go off what we see in the commits and then what we can test on staging. And sometimes we do miss stuff, but I do get the sense there are some changes to barricades coming in. But as far as what specifically they are at the moment, I am unaware.
Yeah, I've tried to place the wooden barricades like 10 minutes before we started stream, so like 30 minutes ago, and they're not decaying, so it's not that, at least for now.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted as well. I think there's probably going to be a number of other quality of life and meta changing changes coming in probably in the next couple days to kind of wrap up or round out this update next week. So, next week for the full update stream, we'll give you a full rundown of what these changes are and if there are any to barricades.
Both wooden and stone high externals are changing, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's all the high externals basically, and the walls and the gates for wood and stone now take 3 seconds to deploy, and any movement will cancel that deploying of them. And then on top of that, you can actually demolish them with a hammer for up to 10 minutes after being placed, which is a new kind of nice thing.
Yeah, and also you have the option to cancel, like if you're placing a wall and you don't
Yeah, just
want to, you
just
can
move.
also use your hammer and yeah, but also use the hammer to cancel it.
True, yeah.
Mm, when is the next Twitch drop?
I don't know. I think it's probably going to be soon. It's been a hot minute since we've had a Twitch drop, so I imagine it will be soon, maybe even next week, but I haven't heard anything about it. And um, yeah, it seems a little past due, doesn't it? So we'll see. We'll have to keep you posted on that.
I see multiple asking about the barricades. They do not take extra time to place down. They place instant. Like no, I can't talk like always.
Yeah. The only thing that takes 3 seconds to deploy now is the high external walls and gates. So those normal smaller wood barricades, you can still plop them down immediately. And it doesn't at the moment it doesn't seem like anything changed for those, at least with what we're seeing on staging, although I do get the sense they are planning a change or something with that.
Yeah, I don't see anything else. So maybe do a recap. Oh,
Yeah, I'll
someone
do,
just got
ooh.
in with one. No question. Just wanted to say Rustafied rules favorite server.
Oh, thank you for saying so, and thank you for tuning in. Yeah,
And
I love the acknowledgement and much love to you.
and any updates about charitable rust?
It's going to be this year, October 12th, I think. And we're going to finalize who we're supporting, like the charity we're supporting in the near future, I think next month. We're pretty sure on who it's going to be, but we're not announcing it quite yet because we have a couple conversations to have. But we're definitely having Charitable Rust again this year. It's going to be middle of October. I think the 12th. It's going to be a Saturday and potentially a Sunday. And we're doing similar to last year. We're going to have some vanilla friendly gameplay action going on the game server, and then probably some islands or some floating islands above where you can do a bunch of different various activities related to Charitable Rust. We'll of course have the art contest and the talent show and races and all this stuff. So we're really excited about it. We're starting development of that and going to have some really cool new stuff this year, but kind of similar flavor as last year. And yeah, super excited about that. So stay tuned for more info on that. And yeah, I think with that, I can do a little recapity cap here.
Yeah.
And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to do at Miss D underscore that's me in chat. But yeah, we are 1 week from the update. And with that, we're seeing a whole bunch of changes. This is like, it's rare that we have a week where there's so many miscellaneous changes, fixes, and quality of life things. It's like, yeah, if you look at rustified.com, it's just multiple long lists of things. So the devs are tearing it up, doing a whole bunch of changes, a lot of things that are going to be some really cool quality of life and really nice balanced shifts. So, and as always, all this is on rustified.com. I do an article every Thursday, first thing Eastern time at midnight. It goes live and summarizes all this stuff in text and pictures. But I'll give a quick little recap here while we're still on. So, first of all, the meta changing changes that are coming. And Alistair announced earlier this week that there's going to be a number of meta changing changes hitting staging. And we have seen a number of those hit, including destroyed foundations block instant rebuilding. So you can't rebuild like with other building blocks. You can't rebuild right away when a foundation is destroyed. The MLRS rocket or MLRS lockout has increased to 20 minutes, down from 10 minutes, or up from 10 minutes, I should say. That's the proper way to say that. High walls can be demolished for up to 10 minutes after being placed with a hammer, and high externals now take 3 seconds to deploy. And this is for wood and stone high external walls and gates. So you got to stand there for 3 seconds to deploy. If you move, it will cancel placement. So this is really for out when people are roaming and doing PvP. No more will you just be slopping down those high external walls immediately and hiding behind them, because they now take 3 seconds to deploy. And if you move at all, it cancels. So that's an interesting thing. So far we haven't seen any changes with wood barricades related to this. Wood barricades, the smaller ones still place immediately, but it's these high externals that take 3 seconds to place. We're also seeing C4 prevents upgrading on building blocks and walls for 30 seconds when it lands. So if C4 lands on one of your walls, you can no longer quickly upgrade it before the C4 blows. Also, the tech tree now has an unlock tax, and this is basically, as you go up different workbench levels, you get a higher tax rate. So workbench level one, zero tax. So it's fine. It's just whatever scrap it costs. Workbench level two, it's plus 10% scrap to unlock. And then workbench level three, it's plus 20%. So there's a 20% tax on unlocking those tier three items on a workbench level three. Now you can still go on a re- research bench and do it with the normal amount of scrap. So there's no tax on the research bench end. It's just when you're unlocking stuff via the tech tree, then there will be that little tax. Also, we've got cargo ships are going to dock at both harbors now. And that should be happening already now. So as of the update next week, you'll see that cargo ship come out and dock at both harbors when it comes out. And then finally, some more gunplay changes are on the way soon, apparently. That's what Alistair said as his final thing with that post. So we don't know what those gunplay changes are, but they are on the way soon, maybe in the next week. So maybe we'll see some gunplay changes before the update goes live next week. We'll keep you posted as always. And that's it with the meta changing changes. Then we've got a whole bunch of quality of life stuff that mostly Helk has done. He's reduced the HV ammo gunpowder cost and made it so HV ammo craft yield is increased to match the non HV ammo craft yield. Torpedo craft yield has gone from 3 to 5, and the torpedoes are increased in accuracy on the surface. Submarines, well, the duo submarine fires torpedoes slightly faster than the solo. Also, road sign armor has increased condition, so it will break slower. They've decreased the metal plate crafting cost from 25 to 18 high quality metal. And they've reduced the cost of incendiary rockets and slightly increased the damage of them. So, a little buff to incendiary rockets. They've reduced the gear cost of the HM LMG. They removed tech trash from the crafting cost of drones and RF items. RF items like the broadcaster, the transmitter, now will just cost metal frags, and it's like 50 more metal frags, but no tech trash. So, arguably easier to craft. They fixed some stuff with incendiary rockets, like spread and visuals and stuff. And then also, this it just came in this morning. They added the ability to auth friends on tool cupboards, similar to turrets, which is cool. Then there's also a ton of fixes coming in. There's stuff with like promoting a team leader can now be done in the team UI instead of having to look at the person when they're online to promote them. They fix a lot of stuff with the backpacks and the behavior of dragging items and right clicking items with the backpacks. It should just, long and short, work more intuitively now. Um, and they also fix storage adapters blocking the looting of boxes when looking directly at the adapters. And they fix some stuff with tutorial buttons not showing up, not being active when they should be. And they remove the inventory slots of the static workbench variants around the map. So if you accidentally right click, you could like previously send your scrap into this thing, this inventory slot you couldn't access, which really sucked. So that's been resolved. Tesla coils and igniters no longer take damage when they're picked up. And yeah, that's about it in the fixes realm. I imagine there's some more fixes coming in this week as well. They're also changing a whole bunch with the patrol helicopter, the behavior of it. I'm not going to go through the whole nitty gritty, the whole list of specific changes, because as I read through it, I realize I don't know what the fuck this really means. Like I don't know. I understand the words that are being said, but I can't from all those words paint a clear, concise picture of how the patrol helicopter is going to behave differently. Um, I'm trying to formulate that over the next week. We'll do some testing and see. But basically, patrol helicopter is going to behave different. Hopefully, it should hang around a little bit more instead of fleeing, so that on like solo servers, you can actually kill it. And one of the more interesting things, and this wasn't this week, this was last week, with the patrol helicopter that they're playing with is when it's at zero health, when it's going to go down, then it will find a monument and go down at a near monument. And so that should encourage more PvP and more engagement on the map to counter that loot. But overall, just the patrol heli is going to be behaving even more differently when this update goes live next week. And we'll try to get you some more specifics around that. Or maybe we'll just wait until the dev blog and the people who are actually developing this and coding this will get their kind of thought process behind what they're planning on changing. In the realm of other stuff, we've got procedural maps will be downloaded from the server instead of generated on the client end, which could be really cool for speeding up load times. So we'll see with that, but should be less computer processing when you're loading in, and hence a quicker load time. There's some initial work on a sperm whale. So I don't know. I guess we'll have some more big spermy animals out in the water at some point.
Like sperm kid,
Yeah, exactly.
sperm kid, and sperm whatever.
And sperm whale, yeah. There's also a new traveling vendor in the works. So this vendor is apparently going to be just an NPC vendor that will move around the map. What was that? Was that Red Dead Redemption had that kind of traveling vendor? So maybe like that. Um, but it's just going to move around the like road. It looks like I don't know what the vendor's going to be selling, but I imagine maybe it'll change as it moves around. I don't know. We'll see. There's more work on bikes, so there's going to be motorbikes and maybe even manual like bicycles. I don't think that's coming in for next month, but maybe the following. There's, as we mentioned before, the new gun in the works, the SKS rifle. Unfortunately, as people point out, it's not the M1 Garand that does the ding at the end, so it probably won't do that. But anyway, it's a new rifle, as someone said, like a shittier semi, maybe. We'll say. And there's more tweaks to door controllers. So they changed a lot with that this month. You can now kind of mount them. They're deployable on the doors like code locks, and then there's the little like parts to hook up different electrical things. Pardon me as my brain just completely resets itself mid sentence. And then there's also more work on the Radtown Redux, this Legacy Radtown. If you ever played Legacy, this will be quite the throwback, and they're working on that as one of the new monuments coming in. There's also, along with that, I think, is a new Legacy crate coming in. And then finally, there's more work on the Nexus body of work, which of course is that server to server transfer and clan table, all that good stuff. They're still working on it. No word on when we're going to see Nexus servers, go live, but we'll keep you posted as more comes to light. They are definitely moving forward with it. And that about does it for what's going on in Rust development for the week.
Yes, we do have a few.
Cool.
However, I just saw someone saying that I wish they would make new power sources like water turbines.
Yeah, I'm with you. That'd be cool.
Yeah, let me see here. Can you show us the new skins if there is any?
I don't think the skin store is updated yet. Let me double check. Let's see. No, I think that's the same as last week. If you didn't get those gold chains yet, man, go pick those up. That's so funny. The funniest poncho skin ever.
I
Just the
haven't even
Mr. T
seen them.
chains. Yeah, it's hilarious. I love it.
That's
So ridiculous. But yeah, I don't buy skins generally speaking, but I may have to buy buy that one.
just because it's fun.
So ridiculous. But yeah, no, I don't think the store is updated quite yet.
Since the harbor update, did you notice what seems to be a bug where ore nodes and barrels spawn underwater near them?
Yeah, there definitely have been some things that are, not quite right when it comes to the harbors and the cargo ships and stuff like that after the update last month. I think a lot of that is going to be fixed and changed. We saw some other issues where, like, the cargo ship on certain maps would go after docking at the harbor, it would go through icebergs. And if you built on that iceberg, then your whole base was totally fucked when the cargo ship went through it. So there's miscellaneous things like that that I think are just kind of byproducts or glitches from the initial launch of this new harbor redux and the cargo ship docking. And I think a lot of that will be fixed for next week when the update goes live.
Do the small barricades still rotate 90 degrees when on a slope?
They
Yeah,
do, yep.
Yeah, I believe so.
they do.
I don't think any stuff has shifted with those wood barricades as of
Not
right now.
as it seems right now, no. This think like garage doors would be amazing to see. I agree with that.
You're
Wasn't there
here.
something with the ladder hatches as well? Changes like high call or something?
Yeah, I thought they were gonna do another variant of the ladder hatch. Where was that mentioned in like a dev blog or something?
Yeah, remember something.
Yeah,
Man,
I
it's
think it
10
was a
years
while
on.
ago. Yeah, yeah.
I gotta say, this was a lot easier like year one, where like everything was fresh and there was a smaller finite amount of information.
Or
Now
it's
it's
10
10
years.
years of stuff and it kind of all runs together in my head. Maybe I'm just aging too and my brain's going to sludge, but I'm like, yeah, I think I heard something about that, but I can't for the life of me remember where.
Um, I miss the idea of the workbench tags. Why are they doing that?
Basically, it's just to, I guess, encourage people to find the items and research them the old-fashioned way on the research bench. Um, I personally would be good with them taking a lot of stuff out of the tech trees, like a lot of the weapons and boom. I think it would be cool to just remove that from the tech tree altogether. You gotta go, you gotta wander the map and you gotta find it and you gotta get it back to a bench and you gotta research it. Um, I get why, with all the electrical items and everything, I get why they have a tech tree, because trying to find every little electrical item to build your electrical system, that's a real pain in the ass. I get why we'd be able to unlock that with a tech tree, but I don't know. Kind of seems like they could just remove a bunch of stuff from the tech trees. But instead of that, what they're doing is they're adding this tax, which is just going to make it more expensive scrap wise to unlock all the things via just the tech tree route.
Have you planned to move away from biweekly wipes from trio servers? They die so fast after 5 days.
I'll look at that. Maybe I'll consider. We've got EU Trio 1 and 2. Maybe I'll consider putting EU Trio 2 to weekly. The thing is, guys, I'll be honest with you. You can never make everyone happy. Um, we move one from bi-weekly, like the solos. Everyone wanted them bi-weekly, and then they were dead second week, and everyone was like, they should be weekly. So we voted on it. We changed it to weekly. Then everyone's like, it should be bi-weekly. I think there's even questions in this chat about, are we going to change solos back to bi-weekly? And it's like, you can't make everyone happy. Maybe I'll look at doing EU Trio 2 to weekly, but yeah, it's kind of a lose lose situation. No one's ever fully happy.
Is there any tech tree modifications already?
Well, basically, the tech tree stuff that we're seeing this week is just the addition of the unlock tax, where Workbench level 1 has zero tax. There's a 10% tax on Workbench level 2, and Workbench level 3 is a 20% tax. So it's just going to be more scrap when you're trying to unlock those higher level things.
Are the bi-weekly servers wiping today?
No, biweeklies wiped last week, and they'll wipe again next week with the forced wipe and update. But we are at one of those Thursdays where it's just the Thursday weekly wipe servers wiping today. So that's your mains, your smalls, your Zen Labs, and your solos.
Mm, I think that's it.
Cool. Well, I think
Trying
with
to
that,
go through.
we'll wind this puppy down. I do believe. And as always, we will be back next week for the full update stream and to let you know exactly when the update goes live. That update is expected next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So basically, 1 week and 15 minutes from now is when we should see this update and force wipe happen. And we'll be back to tell you everything that's coming in the update and let you know exactly when it is happening. In the meantime, just a huge thank you to everyone for tuning in. Once again, we're not the developers of the game. We're not on the Facepunch payroll. We're just an independent organization who loves reporting on development news and running the best servers that we can. And quite literally, the only way that we can do that week after week, month after month, year after year is through the support of the community. So, to everyone who watches, to people who give bits and subscribe on Twitch, and to our wonderful, beautiful, loyal VIP customers, thank you all so very much, really, from the bottom of my heart, because we wouldn't be able to do this without your support. So thank you. I also want to thank Artemis and Miss D for being my co-MCs as always.
You're welcome as always.
Yep, you're more than welcome.
And yeah, with that, we're going to wind this puppy down and we will be back next week. In the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week and a wonderful wipe. This is Bugs signing off.